Vanita Cooper, and welcome to Business 343, Employee and Labor Relations Final Project. Next slide. Aaron McNamara is an employee of Barrera Recycling Company. Rafael Gomez is the general manager for Barrera Recycling Company and has terminated Ms. McNamara. The union has filed a grievance against the recycling company stating they did not have just cause for Ms. McNamara's termination. My position is the Labor Relations Manager, and I'm going to show the importance of workplace safety and also that the termination was caused. Next slide. Grievance discussion case number 3, safety gloves discharge with just cause. As stated, Ms. McNamara is an employee of the recycling company and also has been there for about 20 years. Her job includes handling bundles of newsprint that were bounded with plastic straps. She had to cut the straps and put it into the machine. Ms. McNamara is represented by Local 37 of the United Paperwork International Union. Because of the extent of Ms. McNamara's job, she had to wear safety glasses, gloves, and hard hat. Ms. McNamara, during her time at Barrera Recycling Company, had been reprimanded on several occasions by the general manager, Rafael Gomez. Next slide. Reprimands. The general manager had several conversations which were considered verbal reprimands over Ms. McNamara's work performance and also her safety issues. Once or twice regarding sleeping through safety meetings, 2 pertaining failure to wear safety gloves, failure to wear a hard hat, failure to wear appropriate safety glasses, and the final conversation with Ms. McNamara, she was caught reading non-work materials on company time. Next slide. This is a little bit of research regarding workplace safety. In the U.S., between 1970 and 2012, workplace fatalities had been reduced by 67%, and injuries and illness rates had declined by 67%. All of this was due to the OSHA regulations. A comprehensive approach to establishing and maintaining safe and healthy environments for all warehouse workers begins with a full workplace assessment to determine potential hazards. This is what Barrera Recycling Company did. They knew that the tin cans were sharpened and the bottle glass sometimes was broken. Therefore, Ms. McNamara needed to wear those safety precautionary wear. Workers reported that the use of protective equipment at work minimized potential workplace hazards and exposures to chemicals. Next slide. Some of the hazards that the Barrera Company had found out about there, as I stated, the bottles arrived broken and tin cans contained sharp edges. So as a precautionary, the company required and also provided safety glasses, hard hats, and gloves. Notices was posted around the company about the safety guidelines, and the company also held safety meetings. Next slide. Suspension and disciplinary notice. After several conversations with Ms. McNamara, she was suspended for 3 days. And also, the disciplinary notice contained a warning. The warning stated that in 24 hours, if Mrs. McNamara had any problems within a 12-month regarding any regulations or guidelines, she would be terminated immediately. No grievances were filed protesting the suspension. Next slide, just cause. According to Carol Darby, there were 7 steps to acquire cause for a termination. Was the worker given advance? Was the rule of order standing? Reasonable? Was the alleged violation thoroughly investigated? Was the investigation fair and objective? As the Labor Relations Manager, I will answer yes to all 4 of these questions. Next slide. Did the investigation reveal convincing proof? Was the employer discipline non-discriminatory? Was the discipline reasonably related to the worker's record and the severity of the company? Again, I will reply yes to these questions. David Ditz and James Moore, according to them, if the answer to any of these 7 questions was no, then it was Daugherty's view that the just cause for discipline did not exist. Next slide. Just cause research. Dismissal for misconduct, dismissal for poor performance notice, and adequate notice. Dismissal for misconduct can include willful and wrongdoing, which fundamentally undermines the employer. And you also have to give adequate notice, communication of the rules of this conduct, minimum expectations for employee performance, and disciplinary procedures. Mr. Gomez gave those notices to Ms. McNamara about her incident at the company. Dismissal for poor performance. The employee must be performing consistently poorly. In this case, Ms. McNamara was consistently performing poor. She was also given adequate enough time to get her act together and follow the directions and the rules. Next slide. Some of the research continued that according to the article 1010 or 20, calls for immediate discharge section 1 are as follows: disobedient, neglect of duty, refusal to comply with plant rules, reading books or magazines or newspaper on company time, sleeping on duty, and more. All of these are such things that Ms. McNamara was guilty of doing and also had been reprimanded for. Next slide. Conclusion in the plan. As a labor relations manager, I agree with Mr. Gomez that the termination was caused. Due to Ms. McNamara's repeated actions, the company's safety rules, and multiple violations of the contract provision, the termination was just. If I am granted this plan, my plans of action will include the next steps will include if personnel is transferred from other facilities, they must have two days training before they start, and employees will have to present a checklist of all proper things. And next slide is the references.